What if I told you that one single family, without armies, without thrones, without crowns, may have held more power over the world than kings and emperors? A family accused of financing both sides of wars, shaping governments from the shadows, and building the foundations of the banking system we still live under today. For centuries, their name has been whispered in secret meetings, linked to revolutions, conspiracies, and even the idea of a new world order. But who are they really? And why does the Rothschild family remain one of the most feared and mysterious dynasties in history? 1. Origins of the Rothschild dynasty. The story of the Rothschild family begins in the Jewish ghetto of Frankfurt, Germany, during the 18th century. Mayer Amschel Rothschild, often called the patriarch of the dynasty, was a moneylender and coin dealer who built strong relationships with wealthy clients and European royalty. By the late 1700s, Mayer had established himself as a trusted banker, managing finances for influential families. His strategy was clear. He taught his 5 sons the principles of finance and sent each of them to different European capitals to expand the family's influence. This clever move allowed the Rothschilds to create an international banking network unlike anything the world had ever seen. From the very beginning, their story was one of vision, secrecy, and immense ambition. What made Mayer unique was not just his financial skills, but his understanding of power. He realized that money was not simply about coins and ledgers. It was about influence over governments, wars, and nations. The foundations he built in Frankfurt set the stage for what would later become one of the most powerful families in history, earning them both admiration and suspicion that still continues today. 2. The banking empire across Europe. By the early 19th century, the Rothschild brothers had established themselves as the financial backbone of Europe. Nathan Rothschild in London, James in Paris, Salomon in Vienna, Karl in Naples, and Amschel Jr. in Frankfurt. Each brother managed a key hub of the empire. This network gave the family the ability to transfer money across borders faster than any government or bank could manage at the time. Using private couriers and coded letters, the Rothschilds developed a financial web that made them indispensable to monarchs, merchants, and armies. They were not just bankers, they became the hidden machinery that kept European economies running. Their success was so enormous that by the mid-1800s, the Rothschilds were often referred to as the bankers of Europe. They financed railroads, infrastructure projects, mining industries, and major trade ventures. What set them apart was their international reach. They could move gold, credit, and loans from one capital to another almost instantly. This gave them a level of control over Europe's economic lifeline that no other family or institution could rival. For many, this power was proof of genius. But for others, it was the beginning of the suspicion that the Rothschilds were quietly shaping world events behind the scenes. 3. Influence on wars and revolutions. 1. Of the most controversial aspects of the Rothschild legacy is their involvement in wars and revolutions. During the Napoleonic Wars, Nathan Rothschild's London branch played a decisive role in financing the British military effort. The family developed a reputation for being able to supply governments with loans, gold, and resources when no one else could. The most famous story involves Nathan Rothschild, allegedly profiting massively from the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. According to legend, Rothschild's couriers reached London with news of Napoleon's defeat before anyone else. Using this advantage, Nathan supposedly manipulated the London stock market to secure enormous profits. Historians debate whether this story is exaggerated, but the legend reinforced the belief that the Rothschilds were puppet masters of war. Beyond Napoleon, the family financed governments during conflicts across Europe, from the Crimean War to various revolutions. Critics claimed they didn't care who won or lost as long as both sides borrowed money. This idea that the Rothschilds grew richer from chaos became central to conspiracy theories. Whether entirely true or not, their ability to remain financially strong during periods of upheaval made them appear as if they thrived on global instability, fueling suspicions that still linger today. For control of governments and monarchies, the Rothschilds were not elected leaders, but their influence over kings and monarchs was undeniable. In an era when governments often struggled with crushing debts, the Rothschild family was their savior. They lent vast sums of money to emperors, queens, and rulers who needed to finance wars, build empires, or stabilize their economies. In return, the family gained immense political leverage. The Rothschilds became close to the British crown, advised European courts, and were treated almost like royalty themselves. For instance, Nathan Rothschild's role in financing the British government secured the family's position as one of the most trusted and indispensable players in international politics. Critics accused them of being the hidden kings of Europe, individuals who controlled monarchs from behind the scenes. While they never wore crowns or sat on thrones, their wealth gave them power that often exceeded that of traditional rulers. With the ability to dictate terms of loans, the Rothschilds could influence decisions about wars, treaties, and policies. Monarchs who failed to repay debts risked political consequences. This blending of finance and politics is why many argue that the Rothschild family acted as the true power brokers of the 19th century, sparking endless debate about their real role in global governance. 5. The Rothschilds and the rise of central banks. As European economies grew, the Rothschilds became central players in shaping modern banking. Their influence extended beyond simple loans to the very foundations of national financial systems. They were key in establishing and strengthening central banks, including the Bank of England's growing dominance. Through their network, they introduced innovative financial instruments like bonds, which governments used to raise money. By controlling the flow of capital, the Rothschilds had a hand in determining the economic direction of entire nations. Many critics argue that their involvement in central banking laid the groundwork for the global financial system we see today, including institutions like the IMF and World Bank. The family's reputation for stability and reliability meant that governments often trusted Rothschild bonds over any other source of financing. However, this power also gave rise to claims that they manipulated economies for their own benefit. The idea that a single family could influence currencies, interest rates, and national debts was unsettling to many. Whether one sees them as financial pioneers or shadowy manipulators, there is no doubt that the Rothschilds helped shape the very architecture of modern finance, leaving behind a system that continues to affect nations and people worldwide. 6. The New World Order conspiracy theory. Over time, the Rothschild name became closely linked with conspiracy theories about a new world order. According to these claims, the family is not just a wealthy banking dynasty, but a hidden force working toward global domination. Conspiracists argue that the Rothschilds are behind international organizations such as the IMF, World Bank, and even the United Nations. They are often accused of secretly funding wars, manipulating economies, and pushing for a one-world government controlled by elites. The idea is that by controlling the world's money, they control the world itself. The family is also tied, in popular imagination, to secret societies such as the Illuminati and Freemasons, further deepening suspicions about their influence. While there is little concrete evidence to support these vast claims, the secrecy and power surrounding the Rothschilds make them perfect targets for conspiracy theories. The notion of a single family orchestrating global events is both frightening and captivating, keeping the New World Order theory alive in popular culture. Whether viewed as a genuine threat or a myth fueled by fear, the Rothschilds remain at the heart of discussions about who really controls the world behind closed doors. 7. Wealth, power, and secrecy. One of the reasons the Rothschilds continue to attract attention is the mystery surrounding their fortune. At their peak in the 19th century, the family's wealth was unmatched, with estimates suggesting they were the richest family in the world. Unlike modern billionaires who flaunt their wealth publicly, the Rothschilds were known for secrecy. They avoided unnecessary publicity, rarely revealed the full scope of their assets, and preferred to operate behind the scenes. This discretion only fueled speculation about how much money they truly controlled. Some claimed the family's wealth was so vast it could rival the combined treasuries of entire nations. Others believed they had hidden investments across industries, from mining to oil to banking. While many of these claims are exaggerated, there is no doubt the Rothschilds understood the power of secrecy. In a world obsessed with transparency, their silence became a source of intrigue. People began to imagine that if they were hiding so much, it must be because they possessed unimaginable wealth and power. This culture of secrecy continues to be a key factor in why conspiracy theories surrounding the family remain so persistent even centuries later. 8. Criticism, myths, and anti-Semitism. While the Rothschilds undoubtedly played a massive role in European finance, their story has also been twisted into harmful myths. Many conspiracy theories about the family have roots in anti-Semitic stereotypes that portray Jewish people as greedy or manipulative. Throughout history, the Rothschilds were unfairly accused of causing wars, collapsing economies, and even orchestrating global disasters. Much of this narrative was fueled not by facts, but by prejudice. Political opponents often used the Rothschild name as a convenient scapegoat for deeper societal problems. Pamphlets, propaganda, and books spread lies that the family secretly ruled the world. Over time, these myths were repeated so often that they became embedded in conspiracy culture. Even today, discussions about the Rothschilds often blend legitimate history with dangerous stereotypes. It is important to recognize that while the Rothschilds were powerful bankers, many of the claims made against them are rooted in discrimination rather than truth. Separating fact from myth is essential when discussing their legacy. Otherwise, we risk reinforcing centuries-old prejudices that unfairly target an entire community under the guise of exposing hidden power. 9. Modern-day Rothschild influence today. The Rothschilds remain wealthy and influential, but their power is not what it once was. The family's wealth has been divided among many heirs, and while they still own banking and investment companies, they no longer dominate world finance in the way they did during the 19th century. Modern branches of the family are involved in businesses ranging from wine production to asset management, and they continue to hold significant positions in European banking. However, compared to multinational corporations, tech billionaires, and modern investment firms, their influence is far less dominant. Yet, because of their history, the Rothschilds are still seen as symbols of financial power. For conspiracy theorists, this is enough to keep their name alive as supposed masterminds of global events. In reality, their role today is more about legacy than control. They are respected within banking circles, but are far from being the all-powerful rulers of the financial world. Still, the family name carries weight, and the Rothschilds remain a reminder of how money, secrecy, and history can combine to create legends that last far longer than actual influence ever did. 10. Truth versus conspiracy. Where do they stand? The story of the Rothschild family is a blend of undeniable historical influence and exaggerated legend. On one hand, they were financial pioneers who built an empire that shaped modern banking. Their ability to move money across borders, fund governments, and influence economies was unmatched. On the other hand, centuries of secrecy, combined with myths and prejudice, turned them into symbols of hidden power. Conspiracy theories about the Rothschilds being the architects of a new world order may make for captivating stories, but most lack solid evidence. The truth is more nuanced. They were powerful, yes, but not omnipotent. They influenced nations, but they did not rule them outright. Today, their legacy continues to inspire debate, with some seeing them as visionary financiers and others as shadowy manipulators. The fascination with the Rothschilds says as much about society's fear of concentrated wealth and hidden elites as it does about the family itself. Whether you believe in the myths or not, one thing is certain: the Rothschilds remain one of the most enduring and mysterious dynasties in history, a family forever tied to the question of who truly controls the world.